Hi, my name is Ann Mordecai. I'm from Demonstrated Success, and I'm going to be talking about uploading your student data into Performance Plus. As you can see, I don't know if you've been to one of our webinars before, but in your control panel, you have a place to ask questions. So please ask questions when you have them. I will stop and notice, hopefully I'll notice that you've asked them, and I will answer them. There's also a couple handouts on your control panel. One is the actual PowerPoint from today, and one is a document that I'll show you partway through, and I'll tell you that it's there. And I'm going to show you how to get some other information out of the Demonstrated Success site. So if you have any questions to start, please send them. But I'm curious if you're more interested in uploading assessment data from assessments that you've written, uploading your STAR data, uploading just student information. If you could respond in the question area and just let me know what you're most interested in, just so I can make sure I hit it. And I'll check that as we go along. So today I'm going to talk about the flow of student data and how the regular student data gets in there, how student names and why sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not. A new student comes in, how long does it take to get the information out there? We're going to talk about how to get your national assessments such as STAR, NEWA, iReady, that kind of data into Performance Plus, and then learn how to get your own local data such as your own assessments or the DRA or Fontes and Pinnell type data into Performance Plus. I'm going to start with how the regular student data gets in there. As you know, I think if you've been in P+, you know that you can click on the student button right here, the student icon, and you can see individual student information. So if I click on that icon, I would come to a page where I can enter in a student name or a district or any part of it, any part of the student name. Actually, I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to end the slideshow and go right into Performance Plus and show you how you would do that. And I'm going to go into a database that isn't really a real one. It's de-identified, so there aren't really real students in there. And I'm going to go to the student icon. And I think every single student in this database is John Smith, so I'm not going to type the student name in, but you could just put his or her first name, his or her last name. If you know they're SACID, which would be unusual, you could put that in. I'm going to pick 1355 is supposed to be a pretty good one, so I'll pick that. Show students. Hopefully I won't get too many. All right, yes, they're all John Smiths. So if I had entered in the student name, I might get a list of students. If it was a common name, I can just pick this, and I'm come to the student information. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. There you go. So it'll have the first thing you have in student information. Oh, you're not able to, somebody is not able to see my screen. Oh dear. Hold on, that's a good problem. Probably nobody can. Now can you? I'm going to have to go back a little bit so I can show you. I started from Performance Plus. I went into the student page, so I'm going to show you the students first. A student. If I knew a student's name, I could put the name, first name, last name in, but I'm going to choose district and then just show the students. And oh, this is my John Smith. The first thing you see is, thank you for that, telling me that you didn't see that you couldn't see anything. Basic information about the student. Sometimes you go there and I go, oh my gosh, no wonder that kid's having so much trouble. He's the youngest kid in the class. The next part you'll come to is an assessment page. If I scroll down a little bit, I come to the student detail page for assessments, and it will have every assessment that this student has taken in New Hampshire that has been uploaded to Performance Plus. So in this case, these are the SBAC assessments, the state test. The NEWA scores have been uploaded for this student, and these look like local assessments that this particular district loaded in. So you can load in your own assessment data. If you slide down a little bit, there are some pre-made reports you could look at. I actually don't use this part for by student. I can go in and see all the classes that a student has taken. So I can go back and say, okay, who has this student had for the last 3 years? In fourth grade, this one had Jane Doe for everything. But it would, in reality, it lists real teachers' names. So you could see who they've had for all the years. Scroll down a little more and you can see the student groups. So if a student was promoted, they'd be in a group called promoted. You can see the number of days they were absent in the prior years. If today I was going to look at a student, I could not see the number of days he was absent this year. That data doesn't get sent to the state until the end of the year. It goes to the I4C submission at the end of the year and is uploaded then. So you can only see prior year absence data. IEP data comes in whenever it's ready. There's a beginning of the year file that is sent to the state. Somebody in your district sends that to the state and it's updated at the beginning of the year. Larger districts may update daily. Smaller districts may update only beginning of the year, maybe right before the state tests and at the end of the year. And what happens with that is that sometimes you could have a student come in November and they may not be on the system yet because your district doesn't update. But you can ask your district person to send in a file, and then it'll be updated that night in PerformancePLUS. You can have all sorts of groups. One advantage of these groups, if you wanted to see how students were doing who were absent more than 10 days last year or 10 days in the last 2 years, that would be interesting to see this way. So the groups are set up for that. Some are state set, some are locally set. So you can create, like here I am, I created a group right here. Now, I'll show you how to do that. This is the intervention section of the student detail. If a student has had interventions and it's being kept track of in PerformancePLUS, you'll see it on the student detail page in this section. AimsWeb, you can either enter your own in. There's an agreement with AimsWeb and Dibbles that they send in their information test results. So if you have someone who's on intervention and they're taking the AimsWeb test regularly or Dibbles test regularly, it will go to this section and you'll be able to see their progress. This is a list of all the schools that a student has been to. So you can say, oh my goodness, this poor child has moved from town to town to town over the last 6 years, that kind of information. Or this student has been in our district since the beginning of time, since kindergarten. These come in the beginning of the year and subsequent student class submissions throughout the year. So are there any questions about how that gets put in? Your I4C person is the person who knows more than I do about that, and you can ask them questions and you can have them update things. We're going to talk about here I have a document here that will show you when each piece of information is uploaded. Some of it's the beginning of the year, some of it's middle of the year, end of year. I'm going to get out of the PowerPoint right now and show you how you can find that information. So I'm going to end this. If you go to our Demonstrated Success website, I don't know if any of you have been there, but if you go, it's www.demonstratedsuccess.com, and then go to Member Login. If you've never logged in here, you can go to Register as a new user and fill out the information, and you will be brought to a screen that I will get to in a minute. You probably won't come to this screen, but if you do, or whichever screen you come to, you want to go to Resources and Discussions. This is PerformancePLUS. If you're going here and it doesn't say PerformancePLUS, it means you have access to other sites. You would just go, however many sites you see here, you would find the one that says PerformancePLUS and check it, and you'll come to this page. As you can see, here are all the webinars. this is February 19th's webinar information. We've got this document here that is also attached to the webinar control panel. I'm going to open it up. So you can get this document your very own self. This is upload frequency for more than just what I was going to show you. So this is when error is updated. The error asks the state testing system. The DLM scores for the DLM for the students, the 1% of students that don't take the state test, those results are uploaded. And SAT scores are uploaded fairly quickly after the tests are given or received. NEWA are once a week, DIBELS once a week. So you can read through this and find out how often. If you use any of these assessments, iReady, STAR, AIMSweb, DIBELS, NEWA, you can have that data automatically sent. The College Board SAT, AP, and PSAT, you can see the dates. So this is a great document to go and find out when this data is updated. Demographic data, all the course data, all the classes for your teachers, that's updated at the beginning of the year. And I suppose if there are changes to classes in the middle of the year, it would be updated. You can go through this yourself to find out when things are updated, but please call and ask us if you have any questions. So I'll close that again. So you can get that there. If you have DIBELS, NEWA, STAR, any of those, and you want to get the data sent to PerformancePLUS, you want to come to this page and go to Help Documents and let's see, Request Forms for National Assessment right here. So you need to inform NEWA that you are allowing the data to be sent. You need to inform to AIMSweb. So you have to send them the document that has your superintendent's signature on it to AIMSweb or to DIBELS or NEWA or STAR or iReady. And then they can start sending the data, and that will just happen automatically once you send that document. Back to the PowerPoint. This is just part of that document, so you'll be able to get that if you go there or it's attached, you'll see. Next. I think I'm going to skip this part actually. I said I would show you how to create groups. There was that section on the student detail where you could see the groups that students were associated with. I'm going to show you how you can do that. If you go to the student search page, which was with the icon with the 3 little kids, and show all the students, search the students in your school or your grade or whichever group you're looking for, and then put a check mark next to all the students that you want to add to your particular group. Just check all these places, keep going down, check, check. Then you'll come down here. So it says, please select or create a focus group. You'll click on that and you want to create a new focus group, unless you already have one. But in this case, I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to give it a name. Is it private? Can only I see it? Or can everyone see it? Yes, it's private. And then I'm going to create the group. Now, when I want to get some data, if I just want to look at that group of students, I have that group of students. So I can select all the students from that group. I think that can be very handy. Here it is right here. I can do it from the student search window. I want to get all the students listed on that list. So that can be very handy for creating groups. You can try that. Let me go back. And again, if you have questions on any of this, please give us a call or send us an email. Next, I want to talk about assessment data, which is really the meat of this webinar, is getting assessment data into P+, because for most of us, the student data gets there automatically. Some of the state data gets there automatically. So there are 3 basic types of assessment data. There's the state assessments, national assessments, and local assessments. So for the state, we have the SAS, SAT. We don't have NECAP anymore, and we don't have SBAC anymore. So we have SAS and SAT. The science is now an SAS assessment. both the ELA and the math for 3 through 8 are SAS. So there is no kneecap and SBAC. I should have taken that out. Oops, didn't mean to do that. National assessment data is like NEWA. Oh, somebody has a question. Yes. Why is NEWA and STAR and DIBBLES national and F&P and DRA local? Why are they? Okay, I understand your question. So NEWA, STAR, DIBBLES, and iReady is becoming, these assessments are called national assessments because they're nationally normed. You take the test online, they give you back your results. They have all the data. They have data from all over the country. So you can see your data as it compares to other people in the country. F&P and DRA are, you buy those assessments, but you score them yourself. That data doesn't go back to the F&P company or the DRA company, and they're not normed. So national assessments are the nationally normed. Local assessments are ones that either you've created or that you've scored yourself. So those are the 3 types: state assessment, national assessments, and the local assessments. And I'm going to talk about each one of them. So the state assessments, they are the AIR assessments, the DLM, which should have been on the previous page, and the SAT scores. AIR is math 3 and ELA 3 through 8, and the science scores for 5, 8, and 11. That data comes in about 2 weeks after the students finish the test. It starts coming in. If your 3rd grade starts taking the test, and then your 4th grade 2 weeks later, and your 5th grade, however you've scheduled it, once those assessments are completed, it takes about 2 weeks to get the results into P+. So before the end of the school year, your data is in PerformancePLUS. Somebody's asking a question, I'm sorry, is the interim or the benchmark assessments, data is in there. The benchmark assessment data, I don't know if any of you are using them, but they are the best things since sliced bread. That sounds so stupid, but they are the best things. They really give you a snapshot of where your students are now. And really, really the best thing is that I don't know if we have teachers here or admin or mix, but it really helps teachers see what the standards are asking the students to do. What do the standards really mean? And if you look at the questions in the benchmarks, you can really see, especially for 3rd graders, I think they're very important to just start giving them some of these assessments online. When the real test comes in the spring, they're not nervous at all. They've done it 3 or 4 times. It's old hat to them. So the benchmark data, the benchmarks are fantastic tools. And the question is, does that data go into PerformancePLUS? And the answer is, the system is being set up right now so that data can go into PerformancePLUS, only if a school requests it. So it will be set up, but it will not happen automatically. So if your school wants that data to go there, you can ask for it to be sent to PerformancePLUS. If that didn't answer it, then you can send me another question, please. The DLM scores go into PerformancePLUS in early September, so they take a little longer to get there. And the SAT scores go in around the middle of June, so they hopefully get there before the end of the school year, but it depends on when the end of school is. National assessments, as we said on that document, it'll tell you how often that data is updated, so you can look at that document that we just talked about that's attached to the control panel and see how often these are uploaded. I think they're all weekly. I can't see that one. And yeah, so I don't know what that one is either, but they're pretty much weekly. So if you're expecting your data to come, your kids just took the NEWA, it should be a week. NEWA's got to send it. So NEWA sends it and then it gets updated. But the system runs every week to upload that data. College board assessments. The SATs that aren't the state assessments, if many students take the SATs, everybody takes it during the day, during the school day. Some students take it again, and that data will get updated also. Access for ELL is also uploaded, but it's only uploaded once a year. So that's the state and the national assessments. And I'm hoping that most people are interested in how to upload your own assessments, because I think creating and using your own assessments that are aligned to the standards and also aligned to the work that you're doing in the classroom are they're just I can't, my head is spinning now, but they are the way to improve instruction. If you are teaching a topic, you give an assessment that's aligned to the standards, and 80% of your students pass the test, whatever passing is, then oh yay, I did a good job teaching that. If only 20% of your students pass the test after you've taught it, then you have to go back and give the test again, or change your instruction and then give the test again, or another test again. But creating your own assessments, uploading it into PerformancePLUS is a fantastic way to improve instruction. A lot of people use Fontes and Pinnell and the DRA for their reading. That data can be set. You can upload that data yourself from a spreadsheet or hand enter it in. If you have trimester assessments or mid-year assessments or writing prompts, you can upload that information. And information or intervention data, the DIBELS and the AIMSweb can be automatically sent and updated, but you can also update your own information. So I'm going to show you how to upload this data from a spreadsheet to start. There are really three ways to get this data in. You can get it in from a spreadsheet if you have the data in a spreadsheet or a Google Sheet. You can enter it by hand, like, the student answered an A and then B and a C and an A and got 1 point. You can enter it like that. Or you can use OLA, the online assessment system. So first I'm going to show you how to upload the data that you have in a spreadsheet or Google Sheet. If it's in a Google Sheet, you have to download it to a spreadsheet. What you're going to do is you go to the assessment framework, which is this icon, and that would open a page that looks like this. You then have to search for the particular assessment. So a framework has been set up in PerformancePLUS that matches your assessment. If you've got 5 questions, there are 5 questions out here. If there are just section totals or rubric totals, there are 4 rubrics for your writing, or 4 points for your writing, or 4 sections for your writing. You could have 4 sections, each worth 1 through 4 points. So the framework is set up first, and then you look for it. So it's a first grade Fontes and Pinnell assessment, and I show assessments, and here they are. These are the 2 choices. Let's say I want to upload data into the June assessment, even though that says October. Let's pretend that says June. So I'm going to click Upload Scores. When you get to this page, you have 2 choices of the way your spreadsheet is set up. I've never used this way. What this is if your student code is 1000, that's the SACID. Section A is 12 points. Section B is 14 points. Section C is 13 points. And here's another student. These are the points he or she got on the test. Next student and his or her points. This way you can do it, but it's this student 1, 2, 3, 4 has 4 records, and each section is separate on the spreadsheet. I've never done it that way. I don't really see why I would, so I always choose this one. Then you just choose the file, and it will walk you through the steps to upload the file. It's the traditional, what's the name of the file, upload it, and it checks for errors if you have errors. It's fairly explicit about what the errors are, so you can fix them. Usually you have spaces where you shouldn't have spaces, that kind of thing. But definitely, again, call if you have questions about this. So that's how you upload from a spreadsheet. It's really pretty easy. The next way is to hand enter directly into PerformancePLUS. So basically, instead of having somebody enter the results into a spreadsheet, you're having somebody enter it into Performance Plus. In some districts, all of the teachers will give a mid-year, and they will enter in all of the data into Performance Plus. Other districts give a end of year or mid-year, and all of the teachers enter the data into a spreadsheet, and then the data is uploaded. Or they hire someone to enter in all the data. So there are different ways to do it. But if you can get teachers to do it, it's a pain, but it's great to have years worth of data in Performance Plus. So if you're going to bypass the spreadsheet and hand enter directly into Performance Plus, you go to the teacher icon, enter in the grade and the building if you need to, teacher name if you have it, but you don't have to have it, show teachers. So these are all my teachers for third grade for this year, which was a little while ago. And Arthur Allen is probably an art teacher, maybe with all those kids. Brandon Allen has 5 courses, maybe middle school teacher. So then you would click one of these, and it would show all of his or her classes. So this teacher has a language arts. It's probably third grade. So it is probably the same students, 30 students for every single one of these classes. It could have just been one teacher with one class, third grade. But let's say I want to update, what did I circle here to update? Let's see. I'm going to update this group, and I'm going to grade the assessment. So there's a column for grading assessment. You click on that. And then you'll get a list of assessments, a list of third grade assessments, because that's what the teacher was, third grade teacher. If you have students who took a different grade test, you just switch it here and find the tests. But in this case, it's a third grade F&P test. I want to update it. And I come to my class. Here's my third grade class. It's a different teacher. And these are the students. Now I want to grade the student. I would click right here. And it's the same student. And for this section, the overall instructional level, expectations for reading, the score was a 20. Could have been up to 26. Exceeds expectations. Percent of reading accuracy, so the accuracy rate. I didn't put anything in there. Percent of words, 99% independent. And fluency, the student got a 3. So I just enter in those numbers. If I have some notes, I can add those in too. Save and go to the next student. Or an even quicker way is to switch to mass grade. So this is my list of students. Switching to mass grade, my list of students again, and each of those levels. I can just type them across as I would in a spreadsheet. So it really is almost the same as entering it into a spreadsheet. Don't forget to save. The save button's usually over here. Save all the data, and it's in there. The last way that you can get your own local assessment data into Performance Plus is using the online assessment system. And that is called OLA. Some people have it, some people don't, or some schools have it and some don't. It's an assessment. I'm not going to show you how to use it here. If you want to know, you can give me a call. You can set up your assessments online. So students can take assessments online, your own assessment that you created. You can put it into Performance Plus, and they can take it online, and the data is automatically put into Performance Plus. It's a very handy way to do assessments, get data in there. This is intervention data that you can hand enter. You would go from the student page, student detail page, you'd go through student ILP, and you can enter in scores. These are the scores that a student had for this particular test, which you would have named, and you could see their results. This is what you were hoping for, this yellow line, and this is what they actually did. So you would hand enter in that data, unless it's Ames Web or Dibbles. And that is it. So it took us about 45 minutes, or no, not even that long, 35 minutes to go through that. I am wondering if anybody has any more questions. And thank you for joining us.